Metropolitan Police is investigating at least 5 people who may have assisted or facilitated Mohamed Al Fayed's sexual offences. The force launched a new investigation after 90 alleged victims came forward following a recent BBC documentary. Al Fayed died last year but never faced any criminal charges. The current owners of Harrods say they wholeheartedly support the police investigation. Here's our correspondent, Ellie Price.
Mohamed Al Fayed died last year. He never faced any criminal charges. Now, more than 5 people who may have assisted or facilitated him are being investigated by the Met Police.
While Al Fayed is no longer alive to face prosecution, we are determined to bring anyone who is suspected to have played a part in his offending to justice. This investigation will look at what role those individuals may have played in facilitating or enabling his offending and what opportunities they had to protect victims from his horrendous abuse.
Yeah, I went back to Harrods about a year ago, and I knew if I could walk through and come out the other side, I'd be in a good place to be talking to you.
The BBC documentary, which uncovered allegations of rape and sexual assault, was released 2 months ago. Since then, more than 90 women have come forward to the police. The timescale for their claims of abuse is between 1977 and 2014, with the youngest victim a 13-year-old. The Met Police isn't just looking at new allegations, but also looking back at old ones, when no charges were brought against Mohamed Al Fayed. The force says it's already looked at 50,000 pages of evidence from those previous investigations, and it's launched a review about what was missed and why. 21 alleged victims had already contacted the Met in the years before the documentary. Earlier this month, the force referred itself to the Independent Office for Police Conduct about 2 cases it investigated in 2008 and 2013. Again, no charges were brought. Harrods' new owners have been investigating since last year whether any current members of staff were involved. It's declined to give details of whether any action has been taken against any individual or when that review might be completed. But it said it wholeheartedly supported the Met Police's investigation and had an open, direct and ongoing line of communication with the Met for the benefit of the survivors. Ellie Price, BBC News.
Well, Steve Nibbs is here in the studio with me. And Steve, just tell me a little more then about this new investigation.
Well, this is all over whether people knew and were helping Mohamed Al Fayed with his offending. Were they complicit in his sexual offending? We know that the Metropolitan Police, as you heard in Ellie's report, are working with 90 women who say they were victims of Mohamed Al Fayed, allegations going back to 1977 of rape and sexual assault, the youngest victim being just 13 years old. And of course, Matthew, this is on top of the 21 women we know that spoke to police before the BBC documentary was broadcast. We know that more than 5 people are being looked at. What we don't know is who they are, what they are suspected of doing, what their relationship with Mohamed Al Fayed was. But of course, this speaks, I think, to what the women have told us in recent weeks, that there was a climate of fear around Mohamed Al Fayed, that it was an open secret within that organisation that he was a sexual predator. But if people wanted to speak out, then they were threatened.
And the Met's conduct, that is an added new dimension to this, isn't it?
It is. Well, we know that Mohamed Al Fayed died last year. He survived without a single charge being laid against him. There were investigations in 2008 and 2013. They are now subject, as Ellie said, to a review by the Independent Office of Police Conduct. But alongside this wider investigation that the Met have announced, they are also launching an internal review themselves to see whether lessons can be learned, whether there were missed opportunities, whether modern policing methods can uncover anything new. And so far, they've looked at 50,000 pages of evidence and looked at many victim impact statements.
I mean, there are so many strands of this now. You have not just a police matter, you have a civil case, an internal review, a compensation scheme from Harrods.
Hundreds of women presumably involved in all of this, these legal claims. As of today, we know that there are 290 women involved in Harrods' own compensation scheme. They gave us a statement today. They said that they wholeheartedly supported this latest investigation by the Met and said they continue to encourage all survivors to engage with the police and that they welcome the investigation in supporting survivors in their wider pursuit of justice. But one of the legal firms involved, who we've spoken to before, is Lee Day Solicitors. One of their partners, Solicitor Emma Jones, said to us today that the news of the widening of the Metropolitan Police investigation is too little, too late for the survivors. She said in a statement, "Our clients, who we are proud to represent, are rightly calling for a full public inquiry into these deeply troubling matters, and will continue to push for this on their behalf to ensure that the survivors of the Harrods scandal achieve the justice that they deserve."
Steve, thanks.